Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with your WWE Payback 2014 rundown. This is shaping up to be a pretty weird show. You can definitely tell from what's going down in the wrestling news and from watching Raw is that the upcoming show is not going to be probably what was panned out on paper to be. Of course, everybody knows of the big story that broke a few weeks ago at the Extreme Rules show is that the whole day of the actual pay-per-view, they were negotiating with Batista if he was going to come back and work this Payback show. There was at one point on the table an offer for the main event of this show to be Batista versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And if Batista would have agreed to that, we would be really lost to what is going down. What shaped out, Batista said he would come back, but he only wanted to do the Evolution rematch against The Shield. It looked like they were going in the direction of Daniel Bryan versus Kane. After I guess it was the day of the next Monday Night Raw. A week later, we come to find out Daniel Bryan is going to be having neck surgery that week, and he's going to be out of action, and we're just without a World Heavyweight Championship match. So, this is the special event era. This isn't the big pay-per-views anymore. It's a good thing because I don't know too many people that are going to be bellying up to the table with their remotes in the hand, wanting to call up DirecTV or whoever their cable provider is, saying, like, hey, I want to order Payback and I want you to take $45 from me. But, it comes down to it, we're only paying $10 a month for the WWE Network. Payback is basically free to us, so this could be a pretty fun show to watch. It is what it is. I am very jealous of all the people in Chicago. Everybody knows that the Chicago shows actually show up, for pay-per-views. They're very loud. They're very into it. It doesn't matter if it's a Monday Night Raw, if it's a pay-per-view. They're one of the top crowds there is in wrestling. And, they deserve to get the Payback show back this year. I know that a lot of people went crazy after, getting this show, sort of handed to them for a second year in a row. But then again, SummerSlam, if I wasn't one of the people who lived close enough to go every year, I'd pretty much be pretty sick and tired of SummerSlam being in LA every year. I definitely get tweets every year, during, after, and once it's announced that it's coming back, that, that people are basically bitching that it's doing this. But I tip my hat to the people who live in Chicago. Everybody knows my good friend, my good friend Pinko, HBK25, making the Road to Payback videos. He'll be in attendance. I'm sure that my good buddy Team Rai will be there. So, the YWC will be well represented. In the opening match that has been named for the Payback show, it is our Intercontinental Champion Bad News Barrett going up against Rob Van Dam. And on paper, this sort of seems like a match that's sort of like, it is what it is. Wade Barrett, of course, we're our new Intercontinental Champion after beating Biggie Langston at the last pay-per-view. Rob Van Dam making one of his short-term returns. It seems that when he does these returns, they put him in these matches on pay-per-views, sometimes in big matches, or sometimes just in weird championship matches just to make sure he's featured. He puts somebody over, and we go from there. In my mind, I don't think that Rob Van Dam really is the threat to win the Intercontinental Championship. I think that we're too soon into the Wade Barrett era of being IC champ, but there is a little bit of a backstory to this. Of course, everybody knows that with the Intercontinental Championship tournament, I always call it that, like the winner got the Intercontinental Championship, but it was just to become the number one contender, to become the number one contender to have a match against Biggie Langston. Of course, Wade Barrett won that, but in the finals of that tournament, he beat Rob Van Dam, mostly due to Cesaro and Jack Swagger coming down there and getting involved, which set up their three-way match at the pay-per-view. Wade Barrett took advantage of his shot at it, and he won the Intercontinental Championship from Biggie Langston. So, Rob Van Dam was, oh so close to becoming the number one contender. He could have won the Intercontinental title for probably, off the top of my head, he's won it at least 4 or 5 times. I'm going to guess 7 times. You let me know in the comments down below if I was even close. But it seems like Van Dam for a long time was a holder of that IC belt. Of course, the other style, I was about to call it the older style, but the belt they have now is the older style from the 90s, but the one that was blue with the big globe on it. I just think that Wade Barrett is a guy, as Bad News Barrett's. I think that he's in a weird spot. I think that he's over, but he's not over at the same time. Right now, they're over in England, and he's basically working as a babyface, coming out there against the Authority, because everybody knows that he's going to be getting the hometown pop. And, he's one of wrestling's favorite guys. He's not at the point that I think he should be. I definitely think that it's good that he does have the Intercontinental title, even though these mid-card titles are just basically the kiss of death to a lot of these guys. It's not, they get the belt, they win a few matches, and then they lose 100 more before they finally lose the belt. And then they're sort of like in this weird place of, they got pushed a little bit, and then they really got held back. And so it's sort of like sink or swim. You're on your own. Here we go from here. Wade Barrett is a guy who's had the Intercontinental title 2 times before, and I don't know. The core didn't really go anywhere. And then everybody remembers, WrestleMania 29 being in the, what is it? The pre-show match is what it's called. So, it wasn't that great. I don't think that the Beat the Clock challenge really stepped up to the plate and delivered like the tournament did last time. It was Rob Van Dam beating Alberto Del Rio and everybody else that was involved. Basically, when it comes down to the pay-per-view, I think that it's just going to be Wade Barrett getting the best of Rob Van Dam. He's going to hit him with the bullhammer. It's going to be lights out. And hopefully Wade Barrett can go on and face the next opponent down the road. But who knows who that's going to be. Antonio Cesaro is going to be looking for somebody out there. He's definitely a guy. We need to see if he's a mid-card title guy or if he gravitating towards, heading towards the big prize, towards the top. So, I don't know who the next challenge is going to be. But hopefully it won't be like Rob Van Dam's last return where he's just out there having match after match after match with Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship. Hopefully Van Dam can find a home. We all know that he's not going to be here for that long. He'll be back smoking fatties in his Southern California house sooner than later. So, peace out, everybody. Well, this isn't goodbye because I'll be going on to the next match. But we'll see you in the next video. All right, Arizona iced tea for the working man. Peach flavor right there. We're on the road to Payback. Sorry, Pinko had to steal it from you. And one of the big main events that's going to be there for us is the match that we've been seeing for a little while. This is a program that's been running, I guess you can say, since the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber before we finally got a match. And this is a feud to me that honestly, I still don't really get it. I don't understand why Cena can't defeat Bray Wyatt, why he can't, we've seen him beat so many guys so many times before. And for some reason, this is a guy that really has his number, that even though Cena wins the matches, I know that he didn't get the win at Extreme Rules, but we've seen him beat Bray Wyatt in different situations, whether it's tag matches or beat members of the Wyatt clan in singles matches or singles action. Why, Bray Wyatt is getting underneath his skin. I don't understand. I know that Bray wants to expose him as being like this false idol, and that, he thanks Cena for beating him and showing him the light that, what needs to be next. And, at Payback, we're going to have a last man standing match, and hopefully in our last, Monday Night Raw, we can get a little bit of seasoning on this match that really, sinks into what's going down because of the upcoming Madison Square Garden show, which has already been announced. And of course, the main event is Daniel Bryan going up against Triple H. So I guess they're hoping for a speedy recovery for Daniel Bryan, even though we haven't heard a return date. We can all hope that maybe Daniel Bryan will do something on the pay-per-view. We'll have to find out Monday night when Daniel Bryan comes back and sees if he's going to relinquish his title and hand it over to the Authority and Stephanie McMahon. But another match that's on that card is John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. And that show's in July. We're only in May, so it looks like this is going to be going on for a little bit longer. I guess a 4 or 5 match run going on here. I don't know what Cena has to do to put the exclamation point to win this feud, or if Bray Wyatt's going to come out of this looking good. There's some people that break down Bray Wyatt and John Cena's promos and think that Bray Wyatt on the end of this, at the end of this deal, is going to be coming out as a babyface and everyone's going to be loving Bray. I think that people that think that honestly are thinking that John Cena's going to turn heel out of this whole deal, and they've been drinking the Kool-Aid for the last few years, thinking that everything Cena does is the upcoming heel turn. That is never coming. Bray Wyatt is a villain. I think that he's one of the biggest villains they have in WWE. I don't see him having monstrous powers like Kane, where he can make fire come out of the ring post. But I definitely think that we've seen in the past that he has the power to brainwash people and get people under his realm. And I think that's what's going to be coming and evolving out of the Wyatt clan. I thought that basically when they first came out, I was really surprised that they didn't sort of brainwash somebody to add into their group to make it a foursome. They could have easily taken a guy like Zack Ryder, and Zack Ryder could have been brainwashed and put into this clan. And I don't think he could have grown that very nice of a beard, but he could have started wearing the rugged clothes that the Wyatts do that's all beat up, and made us love him to sort of like, we love Ryder. He's not doing anything on Raw, but we want this guy back as a good guy. We don't want him fighting Bray Wyatt's fights. And you can debate if you think that's a good idea, but we've seen this in the past when people that are loved characters, joined heel groups, much like Right to Censor with The Godfather, and Val Venus being added into it. And they've had other, cult groups where guys, turned heel and joined into the group to come out on the end, jumping out of it. To me, John Cena in the last man standing match doesn't pay off. John Cena's character is the guy who doesn't quit, and he's going to answer that bell every time it comes out. This is going to be John's 5th last man standing match. We've seen him in the past go up against Umaga at the Royal Rumble. Of course, that's the one where he had to choke out Umaga with the ring ropes. And that was basically at a time when people had really turned against John Cena. But I remember the internet coming up to speed that night and, giving respect to John Cena and the WWE, saying that was a finish that they had never seen before. It was very out of the box thinking. And, they tipped their hat to John. They didn't love the guy, but it was a good spot. From of course, there was Backlash 2009 with John Cena going up against Edge. Of course, this was the heel turn of the Big Show coming out, and he choke slammed John Cena into one of the big on the stage lights. It was a very cool spot, a very cool effect. John wasn't able to answer the 10 count, and he then went on to have a feud with Big Show, and it wasn't great. But it was definitely a match that everybody thought that there was no chance in the world Edge was going to win. It was a slam dunk for John Cena, and it showed us that there's a chance that he could, lose these style of matches. From there was the match against Extreme Rules against Batista, and then, of course, another match that John lost, Vengeance 2011, against Alberto Del Rio. Of course, that was the time when R-Truth and The Miz were running all over the WWE, causing havoc, which set up the Survivor Series match with The Rock, where basically John Cena couldn't beat these guys on his own, even though he beat them twice on Monday Night Raw, once on his own, once with Zack Ryder. He needed The Rock to show up at Survivor Series to get the job done. I think I've made 1,000 videos exposing that. It was one of the stupidest ideas that they've ever done at that point. But, this being the 5th, there is a shot that John Cena will lose this match. We can all hope that John does. I think everybody wants the best for Bray Wyatt. It's just hard for me to believe that guys, as, these big monstrous heels, can go up against John Cena, lose a series of matches, and still come out on the end like people are going to believe what's going down. Somebody needs to end this. I'm not saying that John Cena needs to go away forever, but it would be nice if we got a change of pace and John was not the end-all, say-all of a WWE. I love the guy. But, every once in a while, Superman has to be knocked down in order to have the big killer come back and overcome all that is wrong in the world. In this match, I'm going to pick Bray Wyatt. It's a last man standing match. I don't know how you're going to keep the Wyatts out of there. I know that basically John Cena has become friends with the Usos, but they are the tag team champs. They're going to have their own problems at the pay-per-view, so it's not like they're going to be able to have their back. And John probably wouldn't want them to be out there. And plus, if they're going to have his back, why wouldn't have they been out there at Extreme Rules during the cage match when it was basically a 3-on-1 and John couldn't get out of the cage? I don't know. We'll figure it out from there. But that's my thoughts on the John Cena versus Bray Wyatt match. And we'll go on to the next one from there. Peace out, everybody. Alright, everybody. It's main event time. And I love the fact that this pay-per-view is all set up around the Evolution going up against the Shield. The Authority, basically with Triple H being on the WWE poster for this month's thing is very cool. Him in his business suit showing up to work with his big old trusty sledgehammer in hand. This is definitely a picture that's going to be from here on, whatever, known as one of the best pay-per-view posters of all time. You can see the look in his face, how bad Triple H wants the WWE to have a credible champion, even if it is him. There's 1,000 different things. I'm surprised that I haven't seen anybody Photoshop this, where they put the shovel head over the sledgehammer. There's going to come a day. We've already heard Triple H say that he wants to bury Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. We just need to see the fact that Triple H comes out to the ring with a shovel in hand. We all know that he reads the internet. He loves to respond to his critics. And Triple H with this shovel is coming sooner than later. The picture that WWE.com put up for this match is very, very cool. I love the fact that Dean Ambrose is basically just like, come on, let's get this done. We're going to beat you one more time like we've already beat you before. But I love the fact that every time you look at the picture for the first time with a quick glimpse, it just looks like Dean Ambrose is just giving you the devil birds. Like, screw these guys. Let's move on from here. Basically, the Shield, you can call it an underdog victory, you can call it a surprise victory. One way or another, the Shield beat Evolution at Extreme Rules. And right out of the gate, on Monday Night Raw, you can tell that the Authority, Evolution, everybody was embarrassed by this loss right out of the gate. They were booking Seth Rollins in a 20-man battle royal to defend his championship. Basically, he had to outlast 19 other guys in order to keep his title that he had for over a 300-day reign. He wasn't able to do that. Sheamus walked out of there. And on the same night that Dean Ambrose finished second in this battle royal, he had to come back in the main event, and he had to do a 6-man tag against the Wyatts. During this match with the Wyatts, which should have been a match number 3 of these guys having an awesome all-out war. Every time the Wyatts and the Shield get in the ring together, they have awesome chemistry. They have awesome matches. There's just bodies thrown everywhere. We should have got another classic. We were robbed. Evolution came down to make this a 6-on-3 matter. We can tell that basically with this being an elimination style tag, no holds barred, that the numbers game is going to be used into full effect. More than likely, the Shield is going to get numbered down to the point where it's just Roman Reigns standing in the ring. Where we go from here in order to pick a winner in this match for me is hard, because the story's already out there. They really had to talk Batista into coming back for Payback. They were trying to get him into the main event like I talked about earlier. That really didn't work out, but are they going to be able to talk Batista into coming back for the next pay-per-view, which would be June Battleground, I think is what is next. I'm not 100% sure. I know that Money in the Bank is July. I know that SummerSlam is in August. I know that Night of Champions is September. But I don't know what pay-per-view is next. But are they going to try and get Batista to come back, since they don't have the big name value of Daniel Bryan probably not being able to wrestle at that match? So, are they going to find a way to embarrass Batista? Are they just going to have Batista go off into the Hollywood land and make that Hollywood money and make us hate him more because of that fact that he left wrestling once again to go try and be a big star in Hollywood? I'm not sure what they do. If they did that Batista would have to come down and be the last guy eliminated. Then, Triple H and Randy Orton could blame him. Maybe we can have another flip-out moment in the ring where Batista quits and heads off to Hollywood. I'm not sure. Basically, I think that everybody knows that Roman Reigns is the guy that they're trying to make the biggest star. I guess they're basically calling him the captain of the team, even though they're calling Seth Rollins like the architect, the guy that puts everything together. I don't know what that makes Dean Ambrose. It seemed like he had the singles championship for the longest time. It seemed like he was the leader of the group, and he's always sort of seemed like the leader to me, and he's been outspoken. And even though when you break down when somebody was trying to pick apart the Shield earlier, they were trying to find out who the leader of the Shield was, and everybody kept on stepping up saying they were the leader. Ambrose was getting pissed. But the Shield is together, believe in the Shield. It seems like they're the strongest right now. Every time I think of the Shield, I think of all the rumors from basically the Royal Rumble with them trying to eliminate each other, from Elimination Chamber with nobody wanting to trust each other, to then just heading to WrestleMania when they were just a full-on unit ready for war, and then we get the match at Extreme Rules where they actually beat a team like Evolution, showing that they are one of the strongest three-man group that WWE has ever had, behind three-man band, of course. But we're going to have to see how the numbers pan out, who gets eliminated from here. I'm not even sure where they're going from here, with Daniel Bryan being out of action. When he comes back, are they going to have him face Kane to deliver the match that we thought we were going to get? I know that it was never billed on TV, but the one time that they did have a match that was supposed to happen was a TLC match against Ryback and CM Punk. WWE felt bad that they weren't able to deliver on that, so they just gave it to us for free on TV. So maybe when Bryan is able to come back, maybe we'll have Bryan versus Kane. We'll be able to end that feud off, so we won't have a big question mark in the timeline of WrestleMania wrestling history about what happened to different feuds. Or if, Daniel Bryan's going to go off in another direction and face off with these guys. If they do that, then who does the Shield face? So, it's this weird time in WWE. You can tell that they're just trying to, clamoring to get everything together. It's sort of like in this sort of disarray mode because, how many times in the history of the WWE have we been without a champion, where he's been not able to work, and they still need to put a match together. Especially they need to put together a good pay-per-view to get people that didn't buy it for WrestleMania, didn't buy it for Extreme Rules, but people to buy the network in order to get Payback, because it's going to be an awesome show. We'll have to see how it goes down from here. I don't see myself really hating Payback. It's a show that I'm going to be able to be excited for, come home, watch on pay-per-view for free. So it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully you guys got the WWE Network. If not, you're crazy. You're crazy. You need to sign up for the network right now. Peace out, everybody. Have fun.